halachot of honoring one's parents, and then Bezrat Hashem B'Neder, a short musar. We are considering in Pirkei Teshuvah, how does one have to sit by the table next to his parents? Right? Unfortunately, today you have a lot of times a person sits the way he wants, he walks the way he wants in front of his parents, he talks the way he wants in front of his parents. There are also laws according to this how you have to behave. So he says, the Beit Yosef b'Shem Orchot Chaim, the Beit Yosef wrote in the name of the Orchot Chaim, she'en l'shev liyad aviv b'lo shum hefsek b'nehem. You're not allowed to sit next to your father without any separation between you. Aval ha'achronim katvu she'minhag lahakel. However, even though the Beit Yosef says clearly that whenever you're sitting next to your father, you have to be able to give him that space because he's your father, you have to show him importance. So too, when you're at the meal, you have to make sure that you're not sitting next to him. However, he says, Aval ha'achronim katvu she'minhag lahakel. But the achronim, they wrote that the minhag, that the custom is to be lenient, and one is allowed to sit next to his father. We did not hear that people are stringent in this. Especially if you are not in public in front of other people, then we're going to tell you shouldn't be stringent at all. Therefore comes out of your halakha that if a person wants to sit next to his father by the table and he's not giving any room space, it is not a problem. One can be lenient. But Rabotai, if you're dealing with a lot of people, you want to show your father honor by making him like the head. Ve'isa b'Sefarim is brought down in the Sefarim HaKedoshim, shetzarich l'shev b'fnei aviv b'derech kavod u'be'ema ki yoshev l'fnei rabo. A person needs to sit next to his father with an honorable way and with awe and trepidation. Rabotai, when we say awe and trepidation, it doesn't mean you have to be shaking from him, but there has to be some reverence towards your father, that you have to know in your mind that this is your father that you're sitting next to and not just any Joe Schmo. Just like Rabotai, a person will be sitting next to his rabbi, so too you have to be sitting next to your father. If I bring Chacham Avot over here right now, nobody's going to be sitting in shul, not crisscross, not the back laying back, whatever it might be, whichever way people sit. Everybody's going to be on their best behavior. When you're dealing with your parents, when you're eating with them the meal Rabotai, you have to try to do it also in an honorable way, and also you have to show your parents reverence. Rabotai, very important halakha. We also, when it comes to our parents, when it comes to honoring them, you also have to honor them with things that have to do with the meal. For example, he says, Li'itol yadav rishon. The father and the mother have to wash their hands first. Unless the father is saying the bracha, then he's going to wash. Unless he's saying the bracha for hamotzi, then he's going to wash less. But right now he's saying that if the parents have to wash their hands, they should wash first. Also he says that you want to bring the food before your father, right, before you start taking it. Rabotai, very important halakha. A lot of times as you sit down, anytime in the table, everybody starts taking for themselves. Right? The kids, they don't, Rabotai, remember, they don't understand. They want to eat, correct? They just want to take, they want to make Har Sinai on their plate. So you got to teach them the halakha, Rabotai, that before the children take anything, they have to ask Mama and Papa, do you want this? If they say no, then you take. First comes the father, the mother, and only then can the kids start taking it for themselves. That's what Rabotai, you have to be very careful. You want to drink something, you want to drink Coca-Cola, or you want to drink, I don't know, you want to drink whiskey, whatever it might be, you need to first ask your father, do you want? And then you have to take for yourself, but not only think about yourself and completely, chas v'shalom, forget about your parents. Some wrote that when you want to take leave from your father, you need to ask your father for permission before you get up and leave the table. However, he says, he says the custom again, we're not particular in this, but we see from this halakha that a person, when it comes to your parents, you want to try to go ahead and give them the utmost honor in whatever it is. Rabotai, when you go today, unfortunately, you got to educate your children. I'm telling you, what I see what's going on in the world, I don't know, everybody's afraid that the dollar's going like this. People don't understand. Our children are going like this. Rabotai, I see what's going on today. When you go on the bus, when you go on the train, when you come to shul, it is so disrespectful. Children, I don't care. They could be 10 years old. They could be 18 years old. They could be 30 years old. Does not matter. An elderly person walks into the bus, into the train, into the Beit Knesset, into somewhere. Rabotai, you want to give up your spot to them. We don't have this today. You have to speak to the child. You got to educate this. Rabotai, people need to know. You need to educate your children. Do not expect them to know this by heart. Remember, kids, when they grow up, they don't know unless you don't teach them. So that's over here the Pirkei Teshuvah brings down these halachot regarding honoring one's mother and father, how it has to be done. Rabotai, Musar over here in Pirkei Avot, in Pirkei Rishon, Mishnah Tetvav. A lot of times we have a person that, he speaks a lot, but he does little. But other times, Rabotai, you have a person that he speaks little, but he does a lot. You want to try to be from those people that do not promise a lot, but do a lot. Say little and do a lot. I want to show you something he says. Shammai says, Aseh Toratcha Keva. A person has to make his Torah the primary work. I'll show you this is also halakha in Shulchan Aruch in Siman Kuf Nun Vav in halakha Aleph. I'll read it to you also. Rabotai, when a person is able to make his Torah Keva, what does it mean Keva? Primary. In this world we have primary and you have secondary. By certain people, work is primary, their hobby is secondary. By other people, hobby is primary, but their work is secondary. When it comes to learning Torah, when it comes to making time for Torah, Torah has to be primary. You can't leave Torah whenever you want, whatever you want. You can't learn Torah however you want. It's literally, Rabotai, like a business, but a million times more. You need to take it very serious, and I'll tell you why. Because Rabbeinu Yonah brings down over here, what do I care if I make it primary or secondary? I'm learning it, no? What do I care if I show importance to the Torah that I'm learning? Very simple, Rabotai. The way you show importance to the Torah, you should know that's exactly the same way how you're going to be sitting in Gan Eden. If you want to know where your place is in Gan Eden, if you're going to be over there, Ikar or Tafel, if you're going to be the primary, you're going to be important there, or you're going to be secondary, meaning you're going to be Tafel, Rabotai, it all comes down to you now, and how do you establish your learning Torah? So Rabbeinu Yonah says, Kimo she'amar be'avod Rabbi Natan, Kol ha'oseh toroto ikar, anybody who makes his Torah the main primary, umalachto tefela, but he makes his job secondary, osin oto ikar la'olam haba. They're going to make you primary in the next world. You're going to be the main thing. You're going to be the spotlight in the next world. Papa, huh? Rabotai, but the other way around, aval ha'oseh malachto ikar v'toroto tafela. But if somebody makes the work primary, but the Torah is going to make secondary, osin oto tefila le'olam haba. In olam haba, you're also going to be secondary. You're not going to have any importance. But Rabotai, who am I speaking about? Or Telomai, he wants to say, Im lo asa avirot. You didn't do no avirot. You did not do it. You were a tzaddik. V'lo asa Torah ikar. But you did not make the Torah ikar. Listen, you worked, you kept Shabbat, you davened, you gave tzedakah, you kept the mitzvot. But, when I had time, I learned Torah. When I didn't have time, I did not learn Torah. By you, the Torah was not ikar. Right? You get one phone call, you get up and you run away out of class. If something happened, what happened? So now you have to do it. If you have a set schedule, you need to stick to that schedule. He says, so therefore, if a person does not do averot, even though he does not do averot and he does mitzvah, but he does not make Torah the primary, afilu im yizkeh liyot beGan Eden, even if you're going to merit to be in Gan Eden, you will have Gan Eden. Tafel yeh shama, you will be over there, secondary. Artur Samlai. You will be over there second. You're not going to be so important over there as you thought you're going to be important. Because Rabotai, whatever you give importance into this world, that's how they're going to look at you over there. This is why I very much emphasize on what does it mean not to speak in front of your kids about the houses, about cars, about all this garbage. Why? Because they look at to Abba and Ima, oh, Papa wants a new car, Papa wants a bigger house, even though you already have everything. So what's in their mind? So how am I going to make my parents happy? By doing better than them, by being bigger than them, in money, in houses, in cars. But what are you taking away from their children? You're taking away their olam haba. Why? Because they don't know about no Torah, they don't know no mitzvah, they don't know nothing. In their money, right now what? Is to make money, Rabotai. You know, there was once a rich guy, I forgot his name. There was once a rich guy, when I say rich, I think like billionaire. In his mind, he always told his mother, give me some time, Mom. Once I finish my business deal, every time he always had another business deal. Once I finish my business deal, I'm going to come, I'm going to take up my private jet, I'm going to do everything for you, Mom. I'm getting you the house, I'm going to do it, just let me, because he's always running around like a rat race, never in time for himself. Rabotai, he was once away in a business trip, he gets a phone call that his mother passed away. At the Levaya, what was he saying? I should have, could have. Rabotai, at the Levaya, he was crying and asking his mom for apology. Why didn't I spend enough time with you? Why did I say I was going to do it? I'm going to do it. Rabotai, it doesn't have to mean that you have to make billions in order to spend time with your parents. You have to do what, you know how they say? Everything in its own time. Work, you have work. Parents, learn, eat, break. Everything has to be in its proper time, Rabotai. Do not get caught up in the business world. Do not get caught up in the materialistic world, because then what's going to end up happening? You lose everything. And this is why it's very dangerous today that we are showing our kids the wrong things. We're showing the kids what's important, which is the materialistic life, but not chas v'shalom, the Torah and mitzvot. So that's why a person has to be very careful that when it comes to Torah, Aronchik, your kids ask your wife, where's Papa? He's in shul. Where's Papa? He's in shul. Every time they have to ask, the answer has to be, he is in shul. And you cannot be home. You can't be home during the morning, and don't be home at night. I'll tell you why. If your kids are waking up and they're going to yeshiva at 7 o'clock, whatever the time might be, or 6:30, and you're still sleeping, they look at Abba and say, Abba is a bum, sleeps till 7:30, 8 o'clock, goes to shul, downs late, and here I am, I have to go to shul, meaning to my yeshiva, early. How am I better than Abba? At night when you come back home, the kids are home, the wife is home, the father should not be home, because then again, how are you different than your children? You have to try to make it your business not to be home morning and night, so the kids know when they ask the parents, where's Papa? She's going to say, he's in shul. So Emil, what is going to happen automatically? The kids are going to start saying, wow, Torah is important for my father. Look at this. He doesn't miss a day. He doesn't miss a time, and he's always learning Torah. So that's why Shammai says over here, Aseh Toratecha Keva, you make your Torah the primary. So this way you will also be the main, you'll be the spotlight in Gan Eden. Omer me'at v'aseh harbeh. Rabotai, this is very important. Say little and do a lot. Over here, the Rebbeinu Yonah brings down, he says, when you guarantee your friend, you're going to do something for him, don't tell him everything that you're going to do, but rather tell him a little bit of what you're going to do, and then you're going to do a lot. It's only ethical, and it's an act of piety to go ahead and do these things. I want to explain to you over here when it says a lot of times people do not realize that the person that you're fighting against is not any regular person. When we speak about the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death, the Satan, the Yetzer Hara himself, they're all one people, but it's all one angel. When you now want to go and you want to say, oh, I'm going to start learning Gemara, I'm going to start learning Musar, I'm going to take upon myself a new program, you have to be very careful, Rabotai, not to share this with people. Why? Because the second you open, now the Yetzer Hara knows what your agenda is. So now his agenda is to make sure that you don't do it. That's why you have to say, listen, I'm going to try to do 2 minutes a day of learning Torah. Benny, but once you sit down for those 2 minutes, you're there in for 8 hours. You understand? Say a little and do a lot. And try to accept every single person with a happy face. Rabotai, I want to read for you over here a halakha. This is what we read in Musar, in Pirkei Avot. In Siman Kuf Nun Hey, Achar sheyetzeh mi Beit HaKnesset, after a person comes out from the Beit HaKnesset, Yelech leBeit HaMedrash. He has to go to the study hall. Today, Baruch Hashem, our Beit Knesset, our study hall, everything is in one place. Vigba et lilmod. He has to set a time to learn Torah. V'tzarich and she'oto et yikavua. And that time needs to be established. It has to be set. Shelo yavirenu av im hu savur laharvich harbe. You're not allowed to overlook. You're not allowed to overgo that time of learning. Even if you're going to profit a lot of money. If you're going to lose money, something else. But if you're going to profit a lot of money, you're not allowed to give up learning Torah. Rabotai, it's very simple. Because when I have a business deal that I'm able to make right now, $40,000, and I have to learn right now Torah for 1 hour, if I overlook, because I'm gaining, if I overlook this hour of learning Torah, I say to Hashem, your Torah costs only $40,000, which is not true. It's much more than that. So basically, you're putting a price on your Torah that you do not want to do. So that's a person, number one, has to make a set time to learn. The Ramah says, "Ve'af mish ed yodei lilmod." The Ramah says, even if somebody does not know how to learn Torah, yelech lebeit hamedrash uschar halicha biyado. Rabotai, listen to this carefully. Even if you do not know how to learn Torah, it doesn't mean you're exempt from learning Torah. Nevertheless, he says, go to the study hall, and go there and sit there because you're going to get the reward for walking there. Or he says you should set for yourself a place and you should learn a little bit what you know. You should take care of your matters. Also, you should sit before you go out to work. You want to try to go ahead and you want to try to establish in your heart fear of heaven. Rabotai, this was in Simon Kuf Nun Hey. He says after davening, you have to learn Torah. If you look into Simon Kuf Nun Vav, listen to this carefully. This is Halach and Shulchan Aruch, Simon Kuf Nun Vav, Halach Aleph. After you already went in the morning to the Beit Knesset, then you study Torah, only now are you allowed to go to work. Yilan, you with me? So he says over here, the whole Torah she'en imam malacha, because any Torah which does not have with it work, so far betalav vigoreret avon. In the end, that Torah is going to become nullified and it's only going to make him sin. Why? Because when a person has no money, he can do a lot of things against Hashem. He can sin against Hashem. That's what the halakha tells us. After you daven Artur, then you learn Torah. Only now you go and you work. You need to have all three together. Nevertheless, lo yaseh malachto ikar eila aray. Even though we're telling you right now you have to go to work, nevertheless you are not allowed to make your work primary. Brother John, the reason why I'm going to work right now is only for one reason. I'm going to work right now so I'm working Hashem because you said that we have to work after the sin of Adam Arishon. So I'm working now in order to be able to pay the tuition, the rent, but my whole purpose of work is to be able to come back and learn Torah at night. Nevertheless, do not make your job the primary, but rather make it secondary. But make your Torah primary. Why? What's going to end up happening if you're going to do this? Listen to this carefully. This and this is going to be in your hands. You're going to have Parnasa and the Torah is going to stay by you. That's what we see over here, Rabotai. This is why I always tell you. It doesn't matter if you guys want to tell me you have all the excuses in the world. I cannot. It cannot go against the Shulchan Aruch because one of the tests, right, Benny? We believe in Hashem, correct? We know. But let me ask you a question. One of the tests Hashem is going to go through. He's going to take the Shulchan Aruch and he's going to go through Siman, Halacha, Seif. Which one of us is able to get up there and say, I did good? Which one of us? Not one of us, Rabotai. It's very sad. We think we're going to be good. We think Hashem is going to have Rahmanut. Hashem is going to say, I gave you an open book test. I told you what I'm going to ask you. And still you did not go out of your way and try to fulfill the mitzvot. That's what, Rabotai, we have an obligation to make the Torah primary no matter what. Rabotai, listen to me carefully. If you have to be somewhere, if you have to go somewhere, no matter what, you make it clear to your wife, to your in-laws, to your parents, to your friends. Kudot, doesn't matter who it is. When it's time to learn Torah, please do not bother me. Because Rabotai, listen to this carefully. You don't understand what you're doing to your kids, because tomorrow the kids are also going to say, by Papa, Torah is important, they're going to want to become bigger than you. You know what it means bigger than you? They're going to become Gedolim in Torah, and that's what we want our kids to become. Because if a person, Chas v'Shalom, does not have children that go in the derech of Torah, there's no bigger Gehenom than that. So that's why, B'ezrat Hashem, may we have the zuchut that all our children go in the ways of Torah. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen.